Watch this for the next 15 minutes, and you will never look at intelligence the same way again. There is a man in every city who has read every book on money. He can explain interest rates at a dinner party. He knows the difference between a stock and a bond. He has probably corrected someone online this week about inflation, and he is still broke. Meanwhile, across town, a man who barely finished school is buying his second rental property. Most people assume this is a mistake in the system, a fluke. Bad luck for the smart one, good luck for the other. It is not luck. It is 7 quiet habits, hiding inside intelligence itself, that keep clever people poor while less impressive people quietly get rich around them. I wrote about this 500 years ago, though nobody was using the word broke back then. I said fortune is like a river, calm when left alone, but violent when it floods, and it destroys only the man who never built a wall before the water arrived. Smart people are experts at studying the river, reading about it, measuring it. They almost never build the wall. I need to warn you before we begin. Once you see these 7 habits clearly, you cannot unsee them in yourself. You are going to recognize some of them in your own life tonight, and that is going to feel uncomfortable. If you would rather keep believing that intelligence alone is enough, that studying harder will eventually fix everything, turn this off now. But if you are ready to see exactly why clever people stay poor and what the bold, less impressive ones are doing differently, keep watching. Because in the next 15 minutes, you are going to understand something that no classroom ever taught you. Let's begin with the first habit. This is the foundation. Everything else is built on top of it. Shift 1. Research feels like progress. It isn't. Here it is. Smart people mistake research for action, and the two are not the same thing at all. Have you ever met someone who kept saying they were still researching the best investment for years? I wrote once that fortune is a woman, and she gives herself more freely to bold men than to cautious ones. She does not wait for permission. She rewards whoever moves, not whoever prepares the longest to move. Research feels safe. It feels productive. It feels very convincingly like you are doing something. But research without action is simply a very expensive way of standing still while fortune finds someone bolder to reward instead. I once knew a man like this. Brilliant. The kind who could win any argument at any table. For 6 years, he told everyone the same story. He was getting ready to invest. He read every book. He built spreadsheets that could practically predict the weather. In those same 6 years, his neighbor, who never once said the word portfolio out loud, put a small, unremarkable amount of money into a simple investment and quietly forgot about it. 6 years later, the neighbor had doubled his money without really trying. The brilliant man was still getting ready. Here is the funny part. Nobody has ever gone broke from making a decision slightly too early, but plenty of brilliant people have gone broke waiting for a right moment that was never actually going to arrive. The lesson: fortune does not wait for permission. She rewards the person already moving, not the one still reading about movement. Shift 2. The fox who never becomes a lion. Here is the second habit, and it explains why intelligent people freeze at the exact moment they should act. I wrote that a leader must be both a fox and a lion. The fox sees every trap laid in the path ahead. The lion has the strength to walk through them anyway. A fox alone can spot every danger and still starve, because spotting a trap is not the same as escaping one. Most smart people are all fox and no lion. They can list every risk, every possible way a plan could fail, every reason to wait one more month. That is a genuine skill. It is also, on its own, completely useless. This is not really their fault. School trains this exact instinct. Get a question wrong on an exam and you lose marks. 12, 16, 20 years of that training teaches a simple lesson. Never answer unless you are certain. Then that same person is released into a world where the biggest rewards go to people willing to act while still slightly unsure. Nobody ever sends a memo explaining that the rules changed the moment school ended. It is the financial version of standing in a buffet line so long, deciding what to eat, that by the time you are finally ready, they have already packed up the food. Everyone behind you already has a full plate. You are still reading the label on the salad dressing. The lesson: see the trap like a fox, absolutely. But at some point you must move like a lion, or the trap catches you anyway, simply for standing still, too long admiring it. Shift 3. Comfort is a loan from your future self. Here is a twist most people never expect, and it is the one that quietly ruins the most promising people. Being smart usually comes with an early reward. Good grades, a good job, a comfortable salary. And comfort, it turns out, is one of the quietest wealth killers there is. I warned rulers never to build their whole position on someone else's goodwill, because that goodwill can be withdrawn the moment it stops being convenient. A steady paycheck is exactly this. It feels earned, it feels safe, but it depends entirely on someone else's decision. A boss, a company, an economy, none of which you actually control. Picture two young graduates. One is hired straight into a good, stable position. The other cannot find work in her field and, out of necessity, starts selling handmade goods online just to cover rent. 10 years pass. The first is still in the same industry, one promotion further along, comfortable, and completely dependent on that salary continuing to arrive every month. The second has built something that no longer depends on anyone hiring her at all. She never had comfort to protect, so she was forced to build her own. Comfort feels like safety. It is usually just risk, wearing a very convincing disguise. The bill does not arrive today. It arrives 20 years later, the day the job disappears, and there is nothing built underneath it to catch the fall. The lesson: do not build your whole life on something you do not personally control. Comfort you did not build yourself can be taken from you exactly as easily as it was given. Shift 4. A degree is not a strategy. Here is one that will make some people uncomfortable, and it is meant to. Smart people are taught that the answer to almost any problem is learn more, get another certificate, take another course, go back for the second, sometimes the third degree. Sometimes that is genuinely the right move. Often it is procrastination, dressed up very respectably in a cap and gown. Every extra year spent preparing is another year not building, not investing, not testing an idea out in the real world where it actually counts. A certificate on a wall has never once, in the history of certificates, paid a bill by itself. It only pays a bill when someone actually acts on what it taught them. I wrote the prints to be used, not admired quietly on a shelf. Knowledge that is only ever collected and never applied is not wisdom. It is simply a very well-organized form of hiding, wearing the costume of ambition. Nobody is saying study is worthless. A soldier trains before battle, obviously. But most financial decisions are far more forgiving of mistakes than the cautious, credentialed mind assumes. At some point, you have enough knowledge to start. The rest, the real world teaches you, faster and considerably cheaper than any classroom ever will. The lesson: knowledge that never becomes action was never really knowledge. It was simply a comfortable place to stand still. Shift 5. Being wrong is the entry fee. Here is the habit that quietly explains all the others. Smart people build their entire identity around being right. That is what earned the praise growing up, the good grades, the recognition. Being wrong, publicly, feels like a direct threat to who they believe themselves to be. But wealth is built by people who are wrong constantly. Wrong about which investment works, wrong about which idea sells, wrong about which risk pays off. And they keep going anyway because they never confused being wrong with being worthless. Picture a room full of genuinely successful investors, being brutally honest about their own record. Almost all of them will tell you the same uncomfortable thing. Most of their individual bets did not work. What worked was the handful that did, combined with never once letting a wrong bet talk them out of making the next one. The smart person struggles badly with that math. Being wrong most of the time feels like proof they were never actually smart. So they avoid the game entirely, or they play it so cautiously that they can never lose big, which quietly guarantees they can also never win big. I wrote it plainly enough. It is better to be bold than cautious, because fortune is a force that punishes hesitation and rewards whoever dares to challenge her. The cautious man asks, "What could go wrong?" The bold one asks, "What if it doesn't?" The lesson: fortune respects boldness and quietly punishes hesitation. That single shift in thinking is worth more than every degree you could ever hang on a wall. Shift 6. The wall built around an empty kingdom. Here is a habit that hides especially well because it looks, on the surface, like wisdom. Smart people are excellent at building defenses, emergency funds, insurance, backup plans for the backup plans. Much of this is genuinely wise. I have always said a prudent man prepares in calm weather for the storms he knows are coming. But somewhere along the way, for a great many clever people, the defense quietly becomes the entire plan. The purpose of a wall was always to protect a kingdom worth having, not to replace the kingdom altogether. A fox that never leaves his den because he is endlessly busy checking it for danger starves just as surely as one that got careless and wandered straight into a trap outside it. Ask yourself honestly, tonight, how much of your caution is protecting you from a real danger, and how much of it is simply protecting you from the mild discomfort of trying something that might not work? Those are two very different kinds of protection. Only one of them is actually keeping you safe. The lesson: preparation exists to support boldness, never to quietly replace it. A wall built around an empty kingdom protects absolutely nothing worth protecting. Shift 7. You are already in the game. Here is the final habit, and it ties every other one together. Some intelligent people believe that by staying cautious, by refusing to gamble, by waiting for the right moment, they are somehow standing safely outside the whole game of money. They are not. Inflation quietly erodes their savings, whether they are paying attention or not. Less credentialed, bolder people are out there right now, acquiring things, starting things, being wrong loudly, and recovering quickly, whether the cautious observer notices them or not. Refusing to play does not remove you from the game. It simply guarantees you play it badly, by default, while quietly telling yourself you were never playing at all. I wrote that a ruler must be both the fox, sharp enough to see the traps, and the lion, strong enough to walk through them regardless. Seeing clearly how the game works, and never once acting on what you see, leaves you exactly, precisely, where you started. The lesson: you cannot opt out of this game by simply thinking carefully about it forever. You can only choose whether you play it deliberately or let it quietly be played on you by default. So no, smart people do not stay broke because they lack ability. They stay broke because intelligence was never the missing piece. Boldness was. Mistaking research for progress. Depending on comfort they never actually built themselves. Collecting certificates instead of scars. Fearing the sting of being wrong more than they fear standing still. Building walls around a kingdom they never got around to actually claiming. Every single one of these habits feels responsible in the moment. Every one of them quietly guarantees you stay exactly where you started, year after year, wondering why the effort never seems to convert into anything. Wealth was never reserved for the smartest person in the room. It belongs to whoever fortune finds already moving. You have now seen all 7 habits clearly. What you do with them next is the only one that actually matters. If tonight's lesson found you, the next one will find you. Be sure to check out our recommended video. Until the next one, thanks for watching.